Good morning, welcome to Deer Corner. I got a little rain coming in this morning. We got about, half inch, a little more last night up here at the cabin. Got in here about 4 o'clock. July 17th. Usually the last 2 weeks of July, we do our deer stand maintenance up here. We go through and make sure our deer stands are safe, secure, clean, and I make sure doing my deer stand maintenance in the summer gives me a little advantage. A mistake I made years back, and a lot of people do make that mistake. 2 weeks, 3 weeks before deer season, they're out working on their deer stands, and I used to do the same thing. And the thing is, even up here, right before deer season, my neighbor, he's come from the southern part of the state, and he'll come up 2 weeks before deer season, and they do a whole lot of joyriding on their four-wheelers more than working. Sounds like a bunch of bumblebees in the timber. And that, I found, is really a key mistake on early season deer hunting. And that is getting out in the woods with your four-wheelers and actually stirring the deer up. And that's what you're doing. You're making deer move. And when you're getting deer in here, and I'm going to tell you again, deer are lazy. If they don't have to do it, they won't do it. If you don't have to move them, if they don't have to move, they'll lope around all day long in their daily routine. But when you get in here in your four-wheelers and start buzzing around and do sound like a bunch of bumblebees in the woods, you're going to be moving the deer. And just like I said, my neighbor. And I found that out, maybe 10 years ago. So we do our deer stand maintenance in July. And we have found that we can come in here on early season hunting and the deer aren't disturbed. Now, a deer do have memory. And come deer season, you jump on your four-wheeler and you go buzzing through the woods. They know what that four-wheeler is. And I just don't recommend doing your deer stand maintenance or where you're going to locate a deer stand. And do it early. Do it in July, August. Don't go out a couple weeks before deer season and do it. That's a major mistake, major mistake. On your time in doing deer stand maintenance, it's also a good time to check what you got coming on for the fall. We've had plenty of rain. Our acorns are doing really well. I have a good crop of acorns this year. We haven't had no really strong winds up here. Last year we had a tropical storm that came through the Gulf and knocked down a bunch of acorns. But so far this year we've been pretty fortunate. And check little things like that as you're doing your stand maintenance, especially in midsummer. Look on the ground, look what kind of food they're eating, and just notice things out here that will help you in the long run. It's always a good idea too to check the route you're taking in and out of your stand. I have moved my route on one stand 3 times to get in and out to improve my hunting. And it isn't always the quickest way to get to that stand is the best way. I got one stand you actually do a horseshoe to get to it. And the reason I'm doing that, and we changed that route, it takes longer, is because I stay off the top of the hills. The bucks here, especially in late November, they'll be on the ridges and the top of the hills, and I do not want to walk through them when I'm going to my stand. So that's one thing too to check, is the route to your stand, and always look for the edge when you're doing your stand maintenance and how to get to and marking your stands. We got 4 stands up here now that we got a lot of work to do. They're about 7 years old, maybe older. Very good stands, very good location. They'll last forever if you just take care of them. And the price of lumber today, yeah, it get mighty expensive. You can wrap up $1,000 or more in a stand really quick. Never take in consideration that everything's going to be perfect. I'd like it to be perfect every morning. I get up and go deer hunting in the morning. I'm going to my stand. But I always see a key mistake I made. And it could be as little as walking up into a squirrel, and the squirrel starts barking and runs up a tree, gives you away. So you have to keep in mind, nothing is perfect when you're going hunting. And with that thought in your mind, you do kind of keep every movement, everything you do in that deer stand, you keep it in your mind on try to do it the proper way, the proper movement. It's just another tip I have taught myself before I even get up and have my coffee and go to my deer stand, that nothing is perfect every day. I have a lot of good memories here on this property of deer hunting, and hope to have several more. Good friend of mine, he's having a good time up here. My son's having a good time up here. My daughter's having a good time up here. And I got the question asked to me is, how did you know that deer would be in that area at that stand at that time of day? And it just takes a little practice and a little work. I have a good friend of mine that came up and hunted last year, and he got his first nice buck out of here last year. And we come in, and I usually don't come in, I hunt all day. But he came in, we had lunch, and I put him in a stand, and I said at 2:35 to 3 o'clock, somewhere in there, this buck, he usually comes through. And I was right on time, and it was his first nice deer he ever shot. He's 54 years old, been hunting for years, and that's the question he asked me was, how did you know? Well, I do a whole lot of work through the summer in the deer season, and that is part of deer hunting and part of the knowledge that I've been picking up throughout the years. So yeah, deer stand maintenance right 3 weeks before hunting season's a mistake. And you'll sit there and drive down the road, and you'll sit at a gas station, or you're going to a restaurant, and you'll see all these trucks and all these trailers with four-wheelers in the back. All of them going out to do deer hunt, get ready to go deer hunting, and they're buzzing up and down the woods crawling with four-wheelers, and them deer are moving. And you can move a deer, you can move a buck out of his area. Yeah, yeah, even if you're hunting public lands and getting out early the end of June into August. You can still go out in public land, wear your orange, please, and do some scouting, do your looking then. You can find a whole lot of trails, a whole lot of markings. You can see where the deer are going or traveling. You can see what kind of foliage is out there for them to eat, what foliage will be late. Do your homework on your foliage, what foliage falls early, what foliage falls late for the deer to feed on. And that's a key to it too, is some of your trees will lose their leaves early. Some of your plants will lose their leaves early. Some of your plants will hold on until the first good frost. And those are the plants you want to find. And do your homework on that. Get your foliage down when you're out scouting. Take pictures, put them on your phone. Any tip like that will help you in your deer hunting during deer season. Finding the foliage that hold on till late gives the deer something to come through and eat. And finding that foliage is a big advantage where placing a deer stand on public land. And keep in mind, you're hunting does. If you have does and you know where the does are going, you will have a buck. And the bucks will follow the does. The does don't follow the bucks. I hear a whole lot of wish-wash about, well, here's the bucks here and here's the bucks over here. We're going to hunt your does. You find the does, you find the doe routine, you're going to have bucks. I guarantee it, the bucks will come to you. So early scouting, and early scout especially where you're going to place a deer stand on public land. Now's the key time to get out and look. So come deer season, you know where you're going to go and how you're going to get there. And yeah, I'm glad you're with me and glad to see you again. I'm glad to be here. I hope the rain quits and hope to see you again.